Around 2 in the morning, rest is getting harder.
Hello, welcome, Devil Sniper here, and today I'm bringing you episode number 3 of our career mode with West Ham United on FIFA 17. Hopefully you watched the first 2 episodes, which was yesterday being Wednesday. Hopefully you enjoyed those, and hopefully you enjoyed them enough to come and watch episode number 3. So, in the background, we're going to be setting up the career. This is going to be one of your normal episodes, one of your methodical episodes where we just lay the groundwork for episode 4 and onwards. So, West Ham United, we have £53.7 million. We are going to be using a 60% increase. We're going to start off with world class. 6 minutes. Sterling, obviously, download the latest. The summer transfer window is going to be turned off, and we won't be competing in the European competition to begin with. And of course, we're going to do the pre-season. Now, the theory with the pre-season is if we get through the group stages, we will then play the semi-final, and then we will play the final if we make it to the final. We will then judge if world class is too easy. If we win the tournament on world class, we will then literally just straight up it to legendary and be done with it. It's that simple. So hopefully it's all going to go well. We win it and we go up to Legendary. I'm not too fussed. I just want to win a title. So we're going to go into Italy for the European Continental Shield. It's £7.8 million, which would be absolutely fantastic to add to our budget. But of course, it's my home country, which is even better. So to win a tournament in my home country at the start of our career would be absolutely monumental. Something that FIFA have bought in, or EA have bought into FIFA, is now objectives, which is fantastic. Your youth development, your brand exposure, your continental success, domestic and financial. Adds a little bit more meat to a career mode. So as you can see, our financial is low, which is fantastic. I don't have to worry about the old cash too much. Domestic success is high, which is reasonable. I'm happy with that. Continental success is medium. We're not going to be worrying about that in season number 1. Season number 2, that's going to be an extremely high priority for myself, let alone the club. Brand exposure, that is high, which I agree with. That means shirt sales, etc., and just expanding our brand to the world, to the continent, to Europe, etc., which is brilliant. I'm happy with that. Youth development disappoints me a fraction because it's medium. We are the Academy of Football. When I came and played for West Ham, it was all about bringing and developing youth players. Something that John done back then and something I want to continue doing now. So youth development for me personally is extremely high. That is essentially why I bought in Eduardo. You may remember Eduardo. He was a very talented lad. We bought into the club from Brazil, I should say. John bought into the club from Brazil. Really, really talented player. And of course, I've kept in touch with him over the years. And he's going to be my youth development manager, which is absolutely fantastic. As I say, I'm a bit disappointed with that youth development. I really wanted that to be high. But the rest of them, you know, I can understand. And I think it's quite simple. All we've got to do is just perform well this season. As you can see, our profit margins, our transactions. This is something we're going to go into a little bit more in depth as the series goes on. Probably around about September, October-ish in months. We're going to start taking a greater look into this just to see how it pans out and see how it all works out. You can see that it has your players coming in, your players going out, how many players you bought, your weekly wages, and how it affects your budget, which is brilliant. Our budget, though, is fine. We've got plenty of cash in the old back pocket thanks to Sullivan and thanks to gold. We've got 85.9 million and we can spend up to 245,000 on our wage budget, but it doesn't matter because we're not spending any money in this transfer window. In the summer transfer window, it's a big no-no for me personally, purely because Slaven Bilic went out and spent a few quid, bought a few players in, and I feel it would be detrimental to the career mode to come into it and start spending money willy-nilly, bringing in 4 or 5 players. It just doesn't seem right to me. It seems logical just to leave it as it is and see how the team does. At the end of the day, we can get all the way to January. If we get to January and we need more players, we can bring more players in. It's not an issue. We've got the money there. That aside, time for some scouts. I'm going to bring in some scouts. As you can see, we haven't got the most qualities of scouts to begin with, but we do pick up a nice French lad, Kare, with 5-star, which is not too bad. I was hoping for some better judges, but experience with 4-star, judgment with 5-star. He is our outstanding chap to go and look for the youth. So hopefully he would do us a great job. We're going to send them all over the place. We're going to go continental. Of course, we're going to go to Brazil. Why are we going to go to Brazil? Because we want to find another Eduardo. That would be absolutely fantastic to bring in another Eduardo. Though Eduardo was defensive-minded, we're going to go for the opposite end of the scale and go for technically gifted. Yes, we want a Neymar. We want a Pele. We want some serious Samba talent coming into West Ham to ignite the stadium, because we are now playing in the London Stadium, and that venue deserves an absolute superstar to just ignite the stadium. Would be fantastic. That would be brilliant in my personal opinion. Hopefully you agree. But from my point of view, targets. Let's discuss targets. What are we going to do in Season 1? Right, okay. It doesn't matter what the board says. My target's are top 4. My target is the FA Cup. My target is the Football League Cup. I want to win all 3. Is that realistic? Probably not. We'll go top 4 for the league. I'd be quite content getting to the latter stages of the FA Cup. Quarters, semis, at minimum. Final will be an absolute dream. Same with the League Cup. I'd like to get to the latter stages. To go out early would be a very big disappointment in my opinion, as I feel we have a good enough squad. A squad with a lot of depth. And a squad that can do the business. So I'd like to get us to the latter stages of all 3 competitions if that's possible. Like I say with the league, I think top 4, maybe top 5 would be pushing it. We'll have to see. We'll just have to see how we adapt to the new way the actual gameplay is to begin with, because I haven't really played too much, to be honest. You know, I played a little bit of the demo. I really didn't touch FIFA 16 a great deal, so I'm going in this a little bit rusty, so I am a bit nervous, to be honest. Hence why we're starting the career mode on World Class. It's going to be interesting on World Class. Hopefully we can win this competition. So, as you can see, the board come to us and say that we're playing in the Continental Shield, which is fantastic. We have got actually a really tough group. I was a little bit disappointed with our group draw. I was hoping we're going to get a bit of an easier group, but we have got Rubin Kazance, Leon, and of course Chievo. Now Chievo is a special one for us because one of our ex-players used to play for Chievo. If you know who that is, just put it in that comment section down below. It'd be interesting to know who that player is. Of course I know. Do you know? So, West Ham board are talking about shirt sales. They want us to basically get about 39 million quid. Let's just round it up. We've got to sell 40 million quid's worth of shirts. This shouldn't be too difficult. With the likes of Payet, who else we got? Noble, Lanzini, you know, if the new boys as well, Zaza, they might get some shirt sales. So 40 million quid shouldn't be an issue at all. To be fair, Payet should probably sell 40 million quid's worth of shirts literally by himself. I'd like to see Winnie Reid get in there and sell some shirts. Ginge might be able to sell a few shirts. You know, Adrian should be able to sell a few shirts, to be honest. Feguli should be able to sell a few shirts for us. The tank Kiarte should be able to sell a few shirts. We've got plenty of players to be able to sell shirts. Even Andy Carroll could sell a few shirts, perhaps in the actual store itself, more than from a playing perspective, because he is sick note. Unfortunately, he does have a tendency to always break himself like a piece of glass, but that's what it is. So, contract-wise, how are we doing on contracts? Pretty well. The only one we've got to worry about and probably address in the first part of the season, of course, is Adrian. He has 1 year left on his deal. He's currently earning 77,000. Apart from that, everyone else seems to have a nice sort of decent contract, and we don't have to worry about them too much, including Arbeloa has a 5-year deal. Wow, isn't Arbeloa like 33? So he has a 5-year deal, which is, that's pretty monumental. Anyway, on to the squad report. Boys are looking pretty solid. Adrian looked pretty good. Byram, I'm glad we've actually got Byram. He's a player that I like to buy in career mode, and I think he's pretty decent, to be honest. And yes, Arbeloa is 33, so we have got him for 5 years, which is pretty mental. Collins, probably the one player that I'd be looking to move out in next summer. More than January, to be honest, just because he's getting on a little bit. He's a little bit slow. I'd like to bring in a bit of a more versatile centre-back, someone a little bit more mincemeat about him. Reece Oxford looks fantastic, and a player that's definitely going to be staying at the club, and we're definitely going to be developing. I think he will have a big, bright future with us. Obviously, Ogbonna, as you saw, some really well-rounded statistics. He's a quality player. He just needs some more games under his belt, and I think he'll be a top class. A top class centre-back for us. Obviously, we've got quite a few players out on loan. Is that Masaku? I don't know how to pronounce Arthur's name very well at all. It's one of those names that it just does my noodling. Aaron Creswell, of course, in real life he is injured, unfortunately, but thankfully in career mode he's not, because he is just absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see him develop. Same with Kiarte. I want to see him develop and push on in his game. We've got Nordveit. Norwegian lad who's very adaptable, centre-back, CDM, right-back, very, very adaptable, which I'm really happy with. You know, if we do get some injuries at centre-back, we can always knock him in there. Same with full-back, we can always drop him in there if needs be, but predominantly he's a cracking little CDM. Pedro Aubameyang, he's pretty decent. I'm looking forward to hopefully him breaking into the team. It's going to be difficult for him to break in the team, but hopefully he'll be able to. Antonio, do we need to say anything about Antonio? Not really. He's pretty damn solid. He is pretty impressive. Hopefully he'll set the world on fire. We've got Torre, not a bad looking player, interesting little player to be honest. I'm not too sure about him. Andre Ayew, thankfully he's not injured. I'm looking forward to him having a big season. And of course, Martin Samuelsson, you would have saw me having a look at him there, and that will become evident in a latter episode where we discuss him, and we will probably be bringing him in as our youth player who we're going to be having a little scout at. That's what we're going to be doing with him. So yeah, he's at Blackburn currently. So yeah, a season on loan. We'll see how he does. Of course, Mark Noble, we don't have to say nothing about the Messiah. Payet, what do we need to say about him? Not a lot at all, because he's just an absolute legend. He really is an absolute legend. Lanzini is Lanzini. He's quality. Edmilson Fernandez, I'm looking really forward to using him. I'm looking really forward to seeing him grow, because he can play in a lot of positions and he's got some decent looking statistics. And if he starts to grow, I think he's going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with. The same with Feghouli. I think he's going to be a force to reckon with. He's such a talented player, someone who I really, really like, and I think he's going to develop well. Zaza, not living up to my aspirations in real life, unfortunately. I thought he'd come across to West Ham from Juventus, and you know what? I thought he'd actually do really well. Perhaps he just needs a little bit of time in real life to settle down and develop, but in career mode, he's going to have to do the same. He's going to have to settle down, develop really quickly, otherwise, you know, he could be looking at being shifted out pretty damn quickly. Andy Carroll, one of those players who just is injury prone and causes a lot of issues. Ashley Fletcher, I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. I want to see him grow and develop. The same with Sacco. He's going to have a couple of chances. I mean, if he doesn't live up to it, unfortunately, he could be out of the door. So from a fixture point of view, mixing my words up there wonderfully, we're going to start off with Lyon. That's going to be a tough game. That is going to be one almighty tough game. For that game, I think we'll probably go with our strongest squad to see how the boys do. And then for the remaining two games in the group against Kiev, I think we're going to go with what I would call our rotational squad, which is the sort of squad we'd probably use for the Football League Cup. And if we have like 3 fixtures in a week and we need to rest players, then we'll be using that side. So it'll be interesting to see how they do in those final 2 games. They'll get 3 days rest, and then they have to play Ruben Kazan's. I think that will be a tough game, to be honest. I think the 2 toughest games are going to be on the 3rd of July and the 10th of July. Lyon and Kazan's. They're going to be some seriously tough games. It'll be nice to see how both sets of boys get on with it. You know, I expect our first team to win. Our rotational side, it's going to be interesting. It could be quite difficult to break out of this group, but I have faith in the lads. You know, I want to show the boys that I have faith in their ability, you know, that I believe in their ability, and give them the opportunity to show me that they want a place in West Ham. So before we finish the episode off, we're going to go and set up our training. Of course, I'm going to be developing the younger side of it. So of course, Ashley Fletcher, I think, could do with some developing, you know, in his finishing. I think finish is going to be the big one. He's got 66 with 67 shot power. I want to develop that for sure. Of course, I'm hoping he's going to turn out to be an absolute legend of a player, but you never know, unfortunately. He hasn't got the greatest work rates in the world, but I'm not too fussed about that. Alongside his finishing, I want to work on stamina. Stamina I find is very, very important, and because these younger players, a lot of them often have really low stamina, which is disappointing and understandable at the same time. I'm just really picky, so I want to work on his stamina and make sure he gets his stamina up so he can last a little bit longer in the games. Fernandez is definitely a lad I want to work on. I have high aspirations for this lad. You know, he's 6'3". We give him a few Jaffa cakes, we can bulk him up a little bit, muscle him up, and he can do us a real job either in cam, centre mid, or in a CDM role. Probably going to settle him down into a centre mid role, depending on formation wise what we go with and how we develop our formation over the series, because we'll probably start off with a 4-2-3-1 and then just try and adapt it, see what suits us better, because I don't know how these formations play on FIFA 17. To be honest with you, 4-2-3-1 I've never been a great player with, so we might have to adapt it into a 4-3-3 or something, or even maybe go to what my home country loves and adores, the 3-5-2. I think we have the capability of playing that, to be honest. Reece Oxford's next up to be given some additional training. Of course, we're going to be working on his ball control and his stamina and dribbling. Now, you're probably thinking, dribbling? Why? Well, come on. If he plays CDM, I want him to be able to move the ball around, with a bit of dribble. And the same if he's a centre-back. I want him to be comfortable on the ball. So, ball control, dribbling, and stamina are very, very important. Of course, we're going to have short pass and vision. Otherwise, what's the point of doing dribbling and ball control? It'd just be absolutely pointless. So I want him to work on his passing side of the game, control side of the game, tackling and developing that side of his game. That can come later. We've got plenty of time to build that up and develop him from that. So that's not a great issue. Anyway, I don't want to bore you anymore. Hopefully you've enjoyed this first episode. Well, it's not really the first episode. Hopefully you've enjoyed the episode number 3. Until next time, I will catch you later.